Hey, let me ask you this too: challenges other challenges that you see facing dads today.
Facing dads today, man, I'd say we touched on one, which was
Mm-hmm.
pressure. I would say another one probably is your past. A lot of dads struggle with their past, and we kind of even insinuated on this a little bit, where maybe they've made some mistakes, maybe they've had some what they would identify as failures. But I remember a friend of mine, he always mentions that you cannot disqualify yourself from continuing to lead within your home, within your family, and within your marriage, even though, right, there have been some challenges. And that goes into almost like a lack of forgiveness of self. Because when we can't forgive ourselves, then all of a sudden we'll begin to struggle with every other facet of our life. We put all of this shame, all of this blame on ourselves. And so I see a lot of men struggling with breaking free from their past. But then I would also go into, you've touched on this a little bit too, which is the phone. And I'll even go into pornography and purity, right? So the phone has diverted a lot of attention away from, I would say, children within the home, our relationships, our marriages, all of these different things, because we get so consumed with, fame and fortune and influence and followers. And it's like, man, you guys, what are we doing? We're missing the most important things that life is really all about, which is our relationships, because we're so consumed by, who's going to like our photo or who commented or what picture will we post next. It's insane to me. And we get so lost and so fixated. I was at a soccer game recently. One of my nieces, she's 5, and she was playing soccer in a 4 to 6-year-old league, right? It was a lot of fun to watch, I tell you that. And she's over there picking daisies, and we're having a blast, but we're cheering her on. Our whole family's there. But there was this one, I would assume, dad next to me. And this guy's there, and this one little girl kept coming over to him. And she kept saying, hey, look at me, look up at me, look at me. And he was so entrenched in his phone. It was like heartbreaking to me. I'm thinking to myself, dude, put the phone down. Like, you're missing moments and memories that you'll never get back in this life. And then, of course, like we talked about, though, with the phone, with the addiction, right, there's so many different distractions that can come with that can lure us away from, in a sense, the destiny that God has for us. And pornography is one of those big things, Robert. It's rampant, not just throughout culture and society, but especially in men and especially in our boys. And being able to remind them of what this looks like, what purity looks like. One of a dear friend of ours at ACC who's also on our board, his name's Jim Kress. He's a licensed professional counselor, a certified sexual addiction therapist, and what he talks a lot about is that pornography, he goes off a 5 A's model. He says it's incredibly accessible because it's everywhere. It's incredibly affordable. You get it for free. It's kind of, in a sense, the drug or the addiction of choice amongst Christians and faith-based believers. Why? Because it allows you to remain anonymous. Then he goes on to talk about how it's airbrushed, how AI makes it out to be this grand thing, when in reality that's completely false of what intimacy really means, what intimacy really looks like in our life. And then because of those 4 A's, it can become the 5th A, which is addicting. And it's never about the whatever it is that you're watching. It's never about the sex. It's never about the woman on the other side of the screen. It's about the feeling and in a sense, the craving that you get for that feeling of being intimate, for that feeling of just a quick fix. And typically what I teach a lot of times, not just when it comes to behavior modification for men that are wrapped up in this addiction of, sexual compulsivity or pornography or infidelity, what I try to remind them is, hey, what's the driving factor behind this? Like, what are you lacking in life that is leading you to reach for something like this, to numb or to anesthetize your pain, to make you feel a certain way? What is it underneath? Addictions are never a primary level thing. They're always a secondary issue. There's always something that always underlies the addiction in the first place. And so being able to get to the root of it, not just the fruit of it, but the root of it, that ultimately is where true hope and true healing and true change can take place.